All right, it is finally here. Astro Bot has landed on the PS5, and so too has the DualSense wireless controller, the limited edition from Sony that I want to talk about today on the show. I'm going to talk about the game at the end of this video, but I do want to do an unboxing and talk about the DualSense wireless controller, the special edition, the limited edition from Sony. You know, they release a couple of these limited editions every so often, and I have to say, next to Spider-Man 2's limited edition, this is probably the best one they've ever made, and frankly, the only one I've actually wanted to buy because it looked so great. So let's do a little unboxing here. Yes, I've filmed this a little bit out of order because I've been playing Astro Bot for the past few days and absolutely loving it. So we're going to talk all about the game here towards the end of the video, but what I want to show you now is some unboxing of the limited edition DualSense wireless controller. So let's crack this puppy open and show you what's inside. The packaging has this nice like embossed cover on it, so a little sticking out look. I used to love that in comic books when you get those embossed covers, right? Anyway, it has a little embossed cover here on the front of it, and yeah, nice design here on the cardboard. I will say it was a real pain in the butt getting this thing out of this. I don't know why, it's almost like it's glued to the box. The inside white cardboard is like glued to the front, so I actually ripped my box. I'm not happy about that, but you know, that's the collector in me, not being happy that I ripped my box getting this thing out. But once you get it out, this controller is absolutely beautiful, and I have to say this may become my go-to PS5 controller. You know, it feels like some of these special edition controllers you might just set aside and not come back to it, just more for show. No, this one has a really nice grippy feeling to it on the side, a glossy sort of grippy feeling. I actually feel like it's grippier than my normal PS5 controller. You can see here how glossy it is compared to the original DualSense wireless controller. But forget about that, the grippiness of it. Let's talk about the sheen. Look at the beautiful blue color here. It's almost got like a sparkly color to it. And then of course inside you see this etching along the bottom here. It has a really nice sort of robotic look to it with this sort of etched robot lines through the bottom of the controller. And of course, if you're a heavy gamer and you don't wash your hands, those things are going to fill up with dirt, I'm sure. So maybe keep some Lysol wipes or nearby that you want to clean this thing from time to time, because it probably will get dirty. I haven't played it long enough to get to that point yet, and I'm a obsessive hand washer, so I don't probably will have that problem. Hopefully not. Anyway, but you'll notice, of course, the painting on the front of this. At first, in the initial trailer that Sony released, I think a lot of us thought that this was going to be a light-up DualSense pad here, where these blue eyeballs from Astro Bot would blink at you from time to time in the game, and that's not the case. That's not been my experience in the many hours of gameplay playing this game. These are painted on eyes. Yes, it does light up blue around the device, but these are not blinking eyes, which would, that would have been amazing. But again, there's no lights in this in the pad for that to work, the trackpad for that to actually work. So good luck trying to do that. I mean, maybe they could have added them, but they did not for this device. And then of course on the back of it, you have this little Astro Bot drawing here, a nice little avatar on the back, which looks great. Overall, this controller is just beautiful, and like I said, I really believe that this is going to be my go-to controller. I've been using it non-stop to play Astro Bot, so I really think this is a great controller. The speakers sound great in this. All told, this is a really beautiful device. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. Okay, now it's time to unbox Astro Bot, the game. Let's crack this open, and it is actually heavier. I was like, oh, maybe they put something in here, not just a disc. Is there actually a manual? Maybe a poster? Is there some stickers? What's in here? And sure enough, yeah, there's a bunch of stuff in here, which is pretty cool. So of course you get the code to unlock some of the digital items for the game, which is really cool. Some additional add-ons that you can download and have as part of the digital edition. So you get that in here as well. And then of course you get a nice comic book from Astro Bot, an Astro Bot comic book, which is really cool, but it opens up into a full poster, which is really cool. Maybe frame that, put it up in your game room if you want, but that's really cool. Actually get, a little bit of extra stuff inside of a disc. And, in an era when we're saying goodbye to physical media and all these companies are slashing their physical media, I'm excited that we've got a little something here inside of a disc. This was really cool, and I'm happy about that. So maybe we're sliding backwards. Maybe we're going to start to see more of this type of stuff. So anyway, I was glad to pick up the disc and, of course, the controller. All right, now let's talk about the gameplay. Now, I'm only going to show you footage here from the first level of the game, the Sky Garden, which you're seeing behind me here. And I have to say, look, I wanted a game like this for a long time. A game that just sucks you in, is pure joy in the mode of like a Super Mario Odyssey, where you just don't want to stop playing. And it's just whimsical, funny, laugh out loud at certain parts, just astonishing with some of the gameplay. So again, you're not going to see anything more, no spoilers here. This is the first level of the game. And right away, using the controller, using this new controller with this game, the haptics are unbelievable. Everything from the little microphone crackling when he lands in the sand at the beginning of the game, and you're hearing the microphone feedback through the speakers, almost like static, like you're picking up a walkie-talkie, to getting up and then navigating through the sand in that first level, in that first section of the game, is unbelievable. And it feels like you're sliding. I don't know how they pulled this off. In your hand, you feel like you're sliding in sand. And then navigating the Sky Garden is absolutely beautiful. And of course, you're trying to rescue these other Astro Bots that are kind of caught up and broken down, and you're trying to rescue them on each level. And of course, you want to try to find all of them. That's the goal of every level. If you want 100% this game, there might be 6 or 7 that are sort of scattered throughout each level. And you're trying to find out where they're hurt, where they're hidden, where they're blocked. Maybe some enemies have them under their control, and you get a bot rescue and you can save them. I have to say, just flying around these different environments, it's absolutely gorgeous. And using your sort of jetpack feet, I guess, your booster feet to navigate is a joy. It really is a joy. And this is one of those games that just made me feel like a kid again. I didn't want to stop playing it for the many hours that I put in over the weekend. And I have friends that have been playing it for weeks, and they absolutely couldn't stop playing. They absolutely love it. So I'm far behind them in terms of how much I've gotten to play this game. But coming up upon some of these enemies, I was just staring at some of the textures, like this sort of slime guy here shooting these, I don't know, slimes out of his mouth. He looks like I almost wanted to reach out and grab him. He looks like something from my 1980s childhood, like some sort of a slime thing I would have gotten out of a gumball machine that my parents would have been mad about because I would have thrown it against the wall and it would have made a mark on my paint. You've all been there, right? That's exactly what this thing looked like. And the texture is so beautiful. I couldn't believe it playing this on my OLED screen. But again, back to the haptics. I think the real star here is showing off the potential of the PS5 and using this DualSense controller and all of the little itty-bitty haptics that you get, the physics. I was wondering, how did they pull this off? You can almost feel the resistance, like the tensile resistance as you're pulling this electrical cord at one point. It's unbelievable, all from a controller in your hand. And just the little moments as you're walking around, the little bumps and bumping into things, and the haptic feedback is beautiful, amazing, and it really adds a layer of experience that I can't say I've ever had in a game before. At one point, you sort of get a power up, which is like a balloon option, which you can inflate yourself and float up into the air and kind of float around and fly, and then drop down and deflate yourself, and then you're underwater. And the underwater effect, I mean, I grew up swimming my whole life on swim team and playing water polo. I'm like, how did they pull this off? Where suddenly the sound gets muffled and I'm feeling the environment as I'm swimming through, bumping into different fish and dolphins and things like that. I mean, how did they pull this off so that I can feel the difference between sand, right? I'm out in the desert, and then I can also feel the difference here while I'm swimming. And again, this is just the beginning of the game. I don't want to ruin anything for you as you get further and further with the physics and a lot of the haptic feedback that you feel throughout this game. But, you know, I am nowhere near as far in the game as some of my friends who are, you know, gotten almost to the end of the game and have rescued so many Astro Bots. But I am absolutely loving it in the many hours I've put into it this weekend. And that, coupled with the DualSense wireless controller, has just been an unbelievable experience. And I have to say, of the game, I'm racking my brain and thinking of the games that I've loved this year, from, you know, Unicorn Overlord to Stellar Blade, you know, these other games. And I'm thinking, my God, wait a minute, is this game of the year for me? Like, is this at that level? And I'm not done with the game yet, but holy smokes, we might be saying that Astro Bot is game of the year. I mean, I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on that. But and here's my final thought. I absolutely love this game, but I couldn't help but feeling a little disappointed in the fact that we've waited this long for Sony to kind of show off what the PS5 is truly capable of from a PlayStation Studios first-party perspective. We've waited this long, and I kept thinking, wow, what if we had a release like this every year in the PS5's life cycle? What a different discussion we would be having about how great the PS5 is. And yet here we are this many years into the PS5, and we're finally getting a game that in many ways is worthy of the PS5. So if I have a message to Sony and PlayStation Studios, do more of this. Yes, do more of this. This is what we've been waiting for. Let's not wait another 5 years for a game like this. You guys can do it. Give us more of this. Anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts on Astro Bot. Thank you guys so much for subscribing to the channel, and I'm going to go back and play more Astro Bot because why not? This is an amazing game. We'll see you next time, everyone.